Now I want you to tell me how many times I have come out here and told you to get the hell out of California. City of crime, California, city of shoplifting. Well, that's San Francisco specifically. Again, and I'll go here. How many times have I told you that if you put a liberal in charge of anything, they'll run it into the ground? Business, church, shopping center, government position, doesn't matter. Their reckless, batshit crazy rules will drive whatever it is they're running into the ground. And if they're in a political position, a government position, they're making rules for you and your business without your consent. Well, you voted for us. Guess you better vote different next time. You voted for us. You did? What machines did we use when we voted? Oh, those machines. So a question, did you really vote for those people? So, come across this article from a site that I've never heard of, flagandcross.com. So I went ahead and searched for a similar headline and found New York Times just a few days ago, a week ago, doing a story on it too. So we'll go ahead and read this. San Francisco law, which has been on the books for a while, by the way, legalizing shoplifting essentially forces closure of small stores, leaving residents without. A law in San Francisco that legalizes shoplifting up to $950 because they make it a very minor misdemeanor has caused the closure of stores all across downtown. Again, you're going to be put out of business, and Amazon is going to go, oh, well, people can't shoplift at our store because we don't allow anybody to walk in anywhere. We have big warehouses, super secure facilities, and we'll bring everything to your door. We don't even want you leaving your house. We want you to stay at your house and become a fat slob. The standard American diet way. And when you could walk it off and not become such a fat slob, you can't, because we want to make sure you just stay home. A law in San Francisco, right? In their wisdom, the city council passed Proposition 47. This is San Francisco again. City council, an ordinance that prevents police officers from arresting or even stopping anyone who steals less than $950 worth of goods due to it being such a minor, really low misdemeanor. Unsurprisingly, the new city law spurred the growth of organized gangs and thieves who gather together and run inside a store as a group to grab everything they can carry, knowing full well that neither the police nor the store owners can do a damn thing to stop them. Now stores such as Walgreens, CVS, and even convenience store chains are closing dozens of locations in the city because their product loss rate has climbed more than 100%. Walgreens, for one, has closed 17 locations in the last few years. And again, this thing's been around since 2014, this law. Approaching half of its San Francisco outlets. And CVS is also closing locations. CVS supervisor Ashai Safai recently told the San Francisco Chronicle that the theft is completely out of control and local residents are afraid to even enter the store because of the gangs roaming the aisles. New York Times. San Francisco's shoplifting surge. Friday, the mundane crime of shoplifting has spun out of control in San Francisco, forcing some chain stores to close. This is May 21st, 2021, a week ago. The other one was the 18th. So this is, even though this law's been around for a while, apparently they're, excuse me, they're just now getting around to some of the stories, maybe because they're starting to close like out of control. And now it's making news. Good morning. Soon after moving to San Francisco in 2016, I walked into a Walgreens in North Beach to buy an electric toothbrush. As I was paying for it, a man walked into the store, grabbed a handful of beef jerky, and walked out. I looked over at an employee who shrugged. Then I went to Safeway next door for some groceries, and I saw a man stuffing 3 bottles of wine into his backpack and walking casually towards the exit. On his way out, he bagged some snacks. I asked the Safeway clerk about the thefts. I'm new to San Francisco, I said. Is it optional to pay for things here? 5 years later, the shoplifting epidemic in San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi's district, I believe, right? Isn't she San Francisco? Has only worsened. At a Board of Supervisors hearing last week, representatives from Walgreens said that thefts at its stores in San Francisco were 4 times the chain's national average, and that it had closed 17 stores largely because the scale of the thefts had made business untenable. Brendan Dugan, the director of the Retail Crime Division at CVS Health, called San Francisco, quote, and by the way, San Francisco is, quote, a liberal stronghold. Democrat liberal stronghold. But anyways, Brendan Dugan, quote, called San Francisco one of the epicenters of organized retail crime, and said employees were instructed not to pursue suspected thieves because encounters had become too dangerous. We've had incidents where our security officers are assaulted on a pretty regular basis in San Francisco. This is the same San Francisco where there are people pissing and shitting, homeless people on the streets, while other people are out fine dining. About fine dining? What the? Hey, man. Nope. Where's he going to go? They don't have public bathrooms outside. Sorry. This is a product, a result of liberal Democrat policies. And I'm over here light years ahead. Years ago telling you, get the F out of California. It's only going to get worse. It ain't getting any better. It's going to get far worse before it ever gets better. Matter of fact, so worse that you're probably not going to wait around for it to get better. You're going to leave. And I said, before everyone figures this out, you might want to be a little bit ahead on that list. And now where are we today? Everybody is fleeing these liberal Democrat states for other non-liberal Republican states. Like, Texas and Florida. And you put a house up for sale. If I put my house up for sale right now, it would be sold probably before it even got listed. Like publicly listed. As soon as it hits that MLS, before it even gets listed on any of the sites, this house would sell, and I'd probably sell it for sure more than I paid for it. But it might sell for more than it's actually worth, is what I was going to say. Because people in those liberal states who were living their big high life, big giant 6-figure incomes all over the place. I got a house in Florida. I got a house. I'm going to sell my house up in upstate in New York. I'm going to sell. Well, what happens when so many people are selling in these liberal states and there ain't enough buyers? Well, just like the crypto market or the stock market or any market, prices will fall and fall and fall. And I remember a lot of people asking White Dove, oh, what about the real estate market? Is it going to crash? Are we see another crash coming? And she goes, well, it's not really it's not either for the whole country. There's going to be pockets of really bad foreclosures and destruction in the real estate market. But there's going to be other places where there's not. That's what she said quite a while ago. And this is it. This is exactly why that is. You're going to have all these, what used to be, I bought me a 600 square foot house down in Hollywood somewhere, not even Hollywood, anywhere in California. How much you pay? $700,000 for a 600 square foot house? Was a 1 bedroom? No, it's a 2 bedroom, but they're small. How much land you got? Almost none. Throw a rock outside and hit my neighbor. Barely toss it. Yeah, okay. I've lived there. I've lived in those kind of, close developments. 700,000, huh? Actually, you're probably looking at me right now going, Joe, dude, I would love to buy a 2-bedroom house anywhere in California for 700,000. In any of these major cities, anyways. Joe, try doubling that. That's what's happening, right? But as people flee and they put their houses up for sale, that means somebody else wants to move into that place, that area. And last time I checked, there's not a whole lot of people moving into these places. When you look at the stats, they're showing more people moving out on a yearly basis than ever before. They're breaking records of people leaving these states. And I'm hearing, New York and Jersey and all these other states, again, liberal hellholes, we're going to have to raise taxes. New York, we're going to have to raise taxes on the wealthy over $1 million. Como, we're going to have to raise taxes. And of course, Joe Biden, well, we're going to raise taxes on anyone earning over $1 million a year, And I'm sitting here going, as I've said again, light years ahead of everybody with the shit that I talk about. And then later on, I'm like, oh, wow, I was talking about that, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. Why are we paying income tax? He's about to pass somewhere between $6 and $9 trillion in spending. We're already at 30 trillion now. It's going to go to 36, 39 before you can blink your eye. Why are we paying taxes, and why aren't any of these politicians, any of them, Democrats, Republicans, any of them, saying, I'm going to put a bill forward to completely abolish the IRS, because obviously we can just print the money. We've got 30 trillion in debt. Why are we taking our citizens' money to pay this debt back? Is what we tell them. And we can't even pay it back. So if we can't pay it back, we might as well help people live a little bit. We could actually slow down, maybe even stop the homelessness problem. Oh, you get to keep all your money. Government will just print the money it needs and blah, blah, blah. No. Oh, no. Because the central banks are controlled by the elite families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and those types. That's who owns the central bank, and that's why the central bank, when it was created, and I think they had to pass a law, I don't know if they did it right away or later, where you're not allowed to know, nobody is allowed to know who owns the Federal Reserve, our United States bank, essentially, that creates the money, the dollar. We're not allowed to know who owns the Fed. And again, our Congress could pass a law today. Send it to the president, have him sign it. We want to know who the owners are. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and do the old Ron Paul audit, finally. Because all these numbers we see, 30 trillion, we can't wait to see what we don't know. And who got money, backdoor deals, people who aren't even banks, just because they're a member of the club, so to speak. They got a backdoor bailout from the Fed somehow. At, 1% interest. While you and I, debt slaves, I go to the bank. Nope. So anyways, I keep telling you, get the hell out of there. Get out of California. Take care.